Hi, and welcome to the Heart of a Perfectionist podcast. I'm your host, Tegan Thompson. I'm a book lover, a chocoholic, and an INTJ living in a world filled with extroverts. I made this podcast to share my experiences and struggles as an introverted perfectionist, and to bring the inner workings of an introvert's mind to introverts and extroverts alike. So grab a cup of tea and get comfortable. It's time to unmute. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Heart of a Perfectionist podcast. So this week's episode is going to be short and sweet. It is titled On to the Next Chapter because there are a lot of things closing in my life right now and a lot of new things opening, and I'm really excited. So I am going to be starting medical school in just about a week. I start orientation in about a week, and so I'm really excited for it. If you don't know me, or you don't know me really well, I have wanted to be a doctor since as long as I can remember. Honestly, like my parents talk about how I wanted to be a doctor, how I talked about wanting to be a doctor like when I was just like a little tiny little bitty kid, and like I've never really veered off from that. I have wanted to be a doctor like my entire life, and like this is like my dream finally coming true. Like, you know, it was pre-med in college, but that's not really like in the medical field or anything. You just kind of take your basic biology courses and stuff like that, so you don't really get that exposure, but medical school is going to be so different. I'm so excited for it to kind of finally learn about and study about and partake in the medical field and be immersed in that. Like, it's literally like my longest dream come true, and I'm so incredibly excited for it. Obviously a little nervous, as most people are when there are big changes or new things start in their life. But with that being said, I have decided to end this podcast, the Heart of a Perfectionist podcast, because I feel like it has served its purpose in my life. I originally started the podcast because, you know, I wanted to become more comfortable with just speaking and having conversations with people, being able to kind of state my opinions and my beliefs and my thoughts and everything, and be comfortable doing those things. And that was kind of like the big reason I started the podcast. I also wanted to talk about introverts and perfectionists a lot, and I felt like I was able to do that. And I feel like I was able to kind of complete both of those things that I wanted to start this podcast for. Like right now, this episode is completely unscripted. When I first started my podcast, I would like literally write word for word what I was going to say in that podcast, and I would get really nervous, like if I ever tried to go off script and say something else, and you know, I just struggled a lot with that. But now this episode is completely unscripted. I did not write one single word down. I just decided I would get on and I would start talking and I would say things and see where it goes from there. So in terms of being comfortable and being able to like just speak, even though it's not necessarily directly in front of people, but it's still to an audience, I think I am really happy with how far I've come in terms of that. And I've also been able to share a lot about introverts, and perfectionism and stuff like that, and kind of just show the world the different side of introverts. And you know, as an introvert, I really struggled with people not understanding what an introvert is and what it means to be an introvert, and like why I'm an introvert and things like that. And so I feel like I've been able to get that out there, and I just feel like the messages I want to share have really shifted, and that's why a lot lately I've been talking more about mental health and stuff like that. And so because of that, I feel like this podcast is complete and it is, at a place where it's time to say goodbye to this podcast. With that being said, I do not want you to think this is the last you're going to hear of me. I already have plans in the works to start something else up. So if you are interested in following me in the future, then I recommend that you follow me on Instagram and or Facebook, and that way you can just kind of stay up to date and see what is going to be new coming in the future. I do not have an exact date of when it will start or anything yet, but I'm really, really excited about it. And it kind of lines up more with the things that I have realized that I really want to share, which is a lot about health, not just mental health, but also physical health and spiritual health as well. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, so I just wanted to get on and I wanted to first say thank you. Thank you so much for supporting me and following me through this journey. It has been a journey. My mom has commented on a couple of my more recent episodes saying like, oh, this episode has just felt like it flows a lot better and everything, and I am really like grateful for that because I kind of was discouraged in the beginning. I just felt like it wasn't what I imagined it being or how other people do their podcasts, but I kept pushing through it, and so I'm really grateful that I've gotten to that point, and I'm hoping that I just continue to progress from here. So yeah, I also just wanted to talk a little bit about starting new chapters. I know it can be scary. It can be very, very scary, especially for me. I am someone who doesn't like change, and my family can attest to this. Like, I am the type of person who has their spot at the dinner table, and I like to sit in that spot alone. And it's like so bad that it's to the point where like if someone is sitting in the spot that I normally sit in, I will just kind of like stand around the table because I don't want to sit somewhere else. I have gotten a little better and I will move around a little bit, not a ton, but like I do not like change, and so like I'm moving into a season of a lot of change, and I'm working on making those adjustments and being okay with change, because change can be good. So I just want to say, like, if there has been a door that has closed in your life and you feel like you don't know where to go from there, there's going to be at least one more door that opens for you, and you're just going to start a new chapter. It doesn't mean that what you experienced in the past or what you had in the past or whatever it wasn't valuable, it wasn't important. It just means that it's done for now, and you get to move on to another great thing in your life. So don't be afraid to start new chapters, and kind of be optimistic and look forward to those things, because those are opportunities to grow and to learn. So yeah, with that, I just want to say thank you again so much. I appreciate every single one of you, and again, look forward to the thing that I will be starting in the future. I don't want to give too much away, partially because I'm not entirely sure myself. I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, I will link my Instagram and Facebook pages in the description so that you can follow me, and I look forward to seeing you all again at some point in the future. Thank you so much for listening to the Heart of a Perfectionist podcast.